Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I have the wonderful Anna Doktor, who is speaking to us on how to build self-confidence and how to beat depression, anxiety, and burnout. Anna is a certified health and wellness coach who fell into the industry after facing severe burnout, depression, and PTSD. Anna went on a deep personal growth journey, taking control of her health and well-being, which gave her the strength to build her life again. She became a health and wellness activist, gained clarity about the mind and body connection, the power of food medicine, and how our mindset works. So welcome to the podcast, Anna.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. I'm so excited to be here.
Hi, you're so welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. I always start the podcast with my rapid inspiration questions just so that our guests can learn a little bit more about you. So could you please inspire us with what your superpower is?
I think superpower, it's not only mine, but everyone's superpower is a freedom of choice. We might think that we don't have a choice or we don't control certain things, but actually we do. And we have that superpower of freedom of choice. We can choose how we behave, how we act, how we perceive things. And we all have it inside. And I guess as a health and wellness coach, I help to bring that superpower to light.
Yes, I love that. We do. We have the power to choose, and it might seem really difficult in the moment, but we definitely have that power to choose, or at least how we respond and how we react.
Yeah, that's right.
And what's your favorite quote or mantra at the moment?
Probably your thinking produces your results. So if you want to get different results, you have to upgrade your thinking.
Brilliant. And who or what is inspiring you at the moment?
At the moment, it's Maria Forleo. I've been listening to her and watching her stuff, and I love how sustainable her business is and her growth, personal growth, and of course, in business. But I love it. I love her approach, and it's very inspirational for me.
Yeah, Marie's definitely a businesswoman icon, isn't she?
Yeah, she is, definitely.
So to start the episode, could you please share with us your story and how you became a health and wellness coach?
Yes, of course. I guess, it started a few years ago. I lived in a constant state of stress and overwhelm and, busyness, juggling a lot of things in my life, of course, career, family. I bought a house, I was renovating. I also had a side hustle. So all of it. And I guess, I wasn't really feeling that showing as my best self, or I wasn't really finding, I don't know, probably happiness or joy in what I was doing. But I was really busy and I was adding even more things onto my plate. And I guess things got even worse because I then experienced burnout. I went through very challenging times with my family. I lost my dad, and I developed depression. I had an onset of PTSD, and oh my gosh, there were mornings when it was very hard to get out of from bed, I guess. And I don't know, like I couldn't show up as my best self. I couldn't really show up in life. And somewhere deep down, I was thinking, my goodness, there has to be a different way. There always is a different way. So I decided to go on self-discovery journey. I love this learning and reading, but I believe that knowledge is power. So I started researching everything that I was able to get my hands on in terms of behavioral patterns, habit formation, why we act the way we act, the emotions, right? Why they play such a big role in how we behave. And of course, everything to do with motivation and why we procrastinate. And I tapped really big into nutrition and looking at how the way how we eat actually fuels us, gives us the energy. Because let's face it, if we don't have the energy, we're not going to be motivated. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to be making healthy decisions. And then, of course, I tapped into the biggest topic, stress, which means like why we feel stressed, what we perceive as stress, where stress comes from, and the really big impact on our mind and on our body and everything in between. And I guess, again, I believe that knowledge is power only if you use it, because just having knowledge and not acting on it, it's not really a superpower, right? So I started implementing everything that I learned. And yeah, things worked, they didn't work, but I was tweaking around. And I guess I started with building my morning routine and building all healthy habits. I also, discover, all about neuroscience and like, when we get up, that's where we're really productive. So start using the time and manage my time more. So I have the energy to do what I want. So I have the time to spend on things that I want to do. And yeah, to be productive, not just busy, but be productive. And then, of course, all about stress. I needed to reduce all my stress stories. So my worth, again, glorification of business, I'm the perfect one, all those stories. And the truth is that, the stress comes from inside. So really to conquer stress, we really need to go deep inside and look for the core, because whatever imbalance is in our mind or in our body comes from inside. And then I guess, again, I like to say that the teacher appears when the student is ready. I came across Wellness Coaching Australia and I thought, oh, you know what, I fall in love with coaching to begin with. And I thought, oh gosh, that's actually another tool that I really want to add into my life. And I enrolled in the program. I got, I became a certified health and wellness coach. And, I really realized that it's not only me, that there are so many women, so many men out there struggling with the challenges that life throws at us, and we're really living in constant state of stress, overwhelmed, we're faced with so many different challenges that really, if we don't have the foundation of healthy habits, we can't live in our optimal health and well-being. And what it means, we don't have the energy to do what we want. We can't be the role models that we want to be. And yeah, that's why I decided, okay, I will open my studio, Anna Doktor Wellness Coaching, and really be of service to others, because I truly believe that when you live in that optimal health and well-being, you're capable of achieving anything.
Absolutely. And from an Ayurvedic perspective, we talk about living in a sattvic state. So that's that place of pure well-being, that light, that harmony, that balance. And you're absolutely right. To get into that more sattvic state, you do have to build those foundations. And in Ayurveda, building a morning routine is so important. We say that it helps to stabilize the Vata dosha, which is the dosha that controls the central nervous system. And we know that the central nervous system can become out of balance when we are stressed. That's what that stress is. And another point that you made about nutrition, we always also look at like sattvic foods that are going to feed the body properly to be able to give it the right energy, but not only the body and the Agni, the digestifying the Agni of the cells, like the mitochondria, but also our mental health. So foods that are going to increase sattva in the mind as well. So yeah,
yes,
100%.
yes, that's so true. It's so true. Like the way how we feed our body also has to align the way how we feed our mind. And it's just so important. And again, a lot of people come to me and just say, well, I'm not motivated, or I'm not exercising, I'm not eating healthy, I don't have any willpower. But I mean, if you do not feed yourself and fuel your mind and your body, you're not going to have that energy. And yeah, that connection is just so important. And you said it beautifully.
Absolutely. So you did mention at the start of your journey, you had so much going on, like a new house and work and all the things that, pile up to create this sort of state of overwhelm. So do you think it was this accumulation of big tasks, or was there a pivotal point that led to your burnout?
I believe that there is never one thing that actually makes us to kind of go off balance, either in our mind or our body. We're a collective, right? A collective of thoughts, actions, or we take the actions or we don't. And it was exactly the same for me. Of course, the business, and I guess for me, it was, taking on more and more things. Our culture is of saying yes to everything. But I guess, I wasn't really checking with myself if what I'm saying yes to, it's actually something I want to say yes to. And I mean, that sounds really simple, but we say yes to so many things. We're putting more and more things because we link our busyness to our worth, right? So we're saying, okay, I'm worthy because I'm busy, which of course it's not true, right? But for me, it was that. And I guess, adding more things, living in a constant state of stress. And we know the effect of stress. It's like you mentioned about nervous system. Our nervous system controls the way how we act and how we behave. And if we are out of alignment because we're stressed, we cannot expect ourselves to be making healthy decisions. And for me, it was that. And then, you're kind of running on empty, right? But then sooner or later, you're going to hit the wall. And I guess I was running on empty. And then, bam, situation happened with my family. Bam, I was, probably already having a little bit of depression because I was doing everything and I wasn't really happy with the results that I had. And then, something else happened, something else. And, sooner or later, we're gonna hit a wall. And for me, that was it. I just hit the wall and that was the moment.
Absolutely. I think that's a really important to bring up about being a yes person and saying yes to a lot of things. And I've had to work so hard on this because I was one of those people. And it's associated to your worth and also trying to be, seen as the good person, the good girl, whatever that may be, in our subconscious beliefs, these patterns that we have sort of created for ourselves. And I find even with a lot of my clients, when we're even sort of working on their hormone balancing or their gut health, when they enter into my Thrive program, which is a 3-month to Thrive one-on-one program, we do a limiting core belief session. And it's so amazing to see the breakthroughs in those sessions. And a lot of my clients are women who are just feeling so overwhelmed because they're serving everybody around them by saying yes to everything, but not themselves. And they're really tipping their hormones out of balance. The sex to stress hormone ratio is just crazy. So it's important to really look at that and look at where your boundaries are. When you can learn to set boundaries and really stick to those boundaries, and say yes to yourself instead of everyone else, we get to manage our stress a little bit more easily. And it's not to say that once you've set some boundaries and you've worked on your limiting core beliefs and all this, that life's just going to sail, because we're all living this very real human experience. We're going to be faced with obstacles to grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, but it gives you those tools and those awareness to be able to combat stress. So I guess my question is for you, based on your research and your personal experience, what are some of the most effective ways to deal with stress?
So when we talk about stress, actually, before I answer your question, I want to go back to something that you said before. It's so important what you said. We say yes to everything, right? And everyone, but we don't say yes to ourselves. And this is, what you said, you have to work on your core belief system, because then you're actually saying that you are as worthy to say yes to as you're saying yes to everyone else. And you have to pivot, because you have to find the time for yourself, because if you're not saying yes to yourself, soon you're going to hit a wall and you won't be able to say yes to anyone else. So I thought that it was so important that when you said it. But going back to your question about stress, I mean, it depends on type of stress. Of course, either it's acute stress, so the one-off event that maybe it's a meeting, and you're feeling stressed, or maybe I don't know, you're going for a date, or I don't know, there's something something maybe first day of work or something. So I would say that if it's a one-off event, it's acute stress, then the first thing that happens, we perceive something as stress, and the adrenaline just starts pumping in our blood. So the best way is really to wear off that adrenaline, and you can do it by physical activity. And by that, I actually mean more of a body movement. So it's a body movement where you move, right, but you also focus on your breath. So moving your body, like physically moving your body. And for me, for example, I love yoga. I just love yoga and walking. So, again, you can combine them too. But if it's acute stress, I would say, physical activity. Just move your body, because you want to change the biochemistry, right? Whatever is happening in your body, you want to change that. And then if it's a chronic stress, which again, most of us actually live in the chronic stress, so one-off event started and now it's a prolonged stress, then again, we have to go back to understanding what stress is. stress is a lack of control. So if you feel out of control the situation that you are in, you're looking for a safety. And to get that safety, you need to have healthy routines. You have to have healthy habits, because yeah, routine might seem boring, but it's something familiar. It's familiar for our brain. So when we are feeling out of control, when we're feeling stressed, we're looking for safety. We're looking for something that it's familiar to us, and falling back on those routines, like I would say morning routine. That's for me, that's the first thing, the morning routine. When I feel stressed, and I always go back and just see, okay, well, did I follow my morning routine? Did I get up when the alarm rang? Did I meditate? Did I go for a walk? Did I actually gave myself, 10 minutes space before the day, start happening for me? And yeah, falling back on that routine, it's how you can learn how to manage stress.
100%. Yes, I'm a big advocate for morning routine.
Oh, I love it, me too.
Yeah, we call it dinacharya in Ayurveda, and that's part of the reason why I created my Ayurveda Alchemist program, which is a 6-month program that certifies you to become an Ayurveda lifestyle and wellness coach. Because as a practitioner, even a lot of the information I was giving my clients is based around these simple lifestyle changes and integrating wellness into your life. And I was like, this needs to be shared so much more widely than it is, and there's so many amazing women that could be sharing this with other people to better their lives. So that was really the driving force behind me creating that program. Also, you mentioned discovering that mind-body connection, and as an Ayurveda practitioner, this is an integral part of Ayurvedic philosophy. So what does it mean to you, and how do you keep that connection and consciousness on a daily basis?
So yeah, again, I think not enough of us actually understand that mind and body are connected. We think that, oh, if there is something happening with our mind, that's it. It has nothing to do with our body. But I mean, let's face it, like if we are not healthy in our mind, we can't be healthy in our body, and it goes the other way. So there are a line. And I think the moment when you align that whatever is happening in your body is happening in your mind, or it's triggered by what is happening by the other one, then you can really start living in your health, and you can, living in your optimal well-being. For me, it's definitely looking and checking that what I fuel, like the fuel I add to my body and my mind, in alignment, which means that, I don't say, negative things in my mind, and then I expect that my body will be, all thriving, right? But yeah, just aligning and making sure that, that I fuel my body and my mind, kind of the same way on a daily basis. And sometimes, I am out of alignment. My goodness, I'm human. We're all humans, right? We have that. But I mean, being even aware that the one cannot work without the other, that it's so important. So even the awareness that maybe something is out of alignment, it's already a first step to take to change.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I love that. I guess another thing I wanted to talk to you about, it's no secret that as a world we're going through some really challenging times at the moment. It's a historical moment, I would say, in the world, everything going on. So for those who are listening and recognizing that they are feeling somewhat depressed or anxious, just, I guess, to let them know that they're not alone. There is a lot of people feeling that way. But Anna, where can we start to help them feel a little bit better? What's like the starting point? Because sometimes they're feeling so down and so helpless, and they don't see that they can get themselves out of it. They don't know where to start. So what would you say to that?
First of all, it's beautiful how you say it, like you are not alone. So first we need to bring a little bit of awareness. You are not alone, and there are other people who most likely going through what you're going. And reaching out for help, it's actually an act of bravery. So there is nothing ashamed. And a lot of people feel like they can't ask for help because that will mean they will feel ashamed that they're asking for help. But just even that awareness that you are not alone, that all the people can help you because they feel the same. But I also like to say that, what are we feeling? It's an emotion, right? And of course, there are other things, happening, on a physical level in our bodies, or, whatever happens in our environment. But mostly those are emotions. And we're really tend to attach to our emotions. And you see, you felt differently previously, which means that the emotions will pass. So the way how you feel right now will pass too. And it's really important to have that awareness that, let yourself feel what you feel, because they're not good or bad emotions. They're just emotions. It's just expression of how you react or perceiving something. So you just even giving yourself permission to feel that way. It's a very, very important step. And then, yeah, just start being aware that, okay, you're feeling that way, but you're not going to feel like that all the time, that will pass. And again, it's very hard, and I understand that, because I remember when I was going through challenging times, and when I was battling depression, like I couldn't get up from bed, right? And the last thing I wanted to hear is to get up from bed. But honestly, the only way to change something, the only way to move, is to take action. And we're not saying, a big action, because then we just think, oh gosh, I have to run a marathon. No, the simplest step, the smallest action that you can take, because the moment you realize that you can actually get up and you are capable of taking that little step, no matter how small it is, you're going to change how you feel. You're going to change how you behave. You're going to change how you act, and you're going to change how you perceive whatever is happening to you, because there is always another way. And often we think that there isn't, but there is. So even when you feel that, it's terrible at the moment, you can't do anything, I really would like to challenge you to get up and take that little small step. And again, reach out for help. There are so many beautiful holistic health professionals who can help you to take that first step. But ultimately, to change anything in our life, we need to take action, because most likely you're already doing something, you feeling something, okay, you're behaving in certain way, you're probably eating in certain way, and you're getting results in your life. Most likely we don't like the results that we're getting, so we think that we're not doing anything to get those results. But if you want to get different results in your life, which means if you want to move or you want to feel differently, you have to take the first step. You have to change the way how you perceive things, how you behave, how you act, what you think, what you eat, and yeah, I guess the actions you don't take. So again, like it's very, very hard, but yeah, just to start with the smallest step possible.
Absolutely. One of the foundational sort of laws of Ayurveda is like attracts like, and opposites decrease each other. So
yes,
if you're in a very tamasic state and you're feeling very heavy and depressed and down, and then you add more sort of those tamasic unhealthy foods and lack of movement and that too much of that grounded sort of energy, then you're just going to create more of that. You're attracting more and more and more of that. Whereas you can bring in that opposite effect of that more lightness, that movement. You can start to lift that tamasic state, which is that sort of depressed, darker, dampened state. And the other thing I always explain to my clients is that, emotions are just energy and in motion until they can become very stagnant and stuck in our body. And that's where that mind-body connection really comes into play as well. So when we're feeling really stuck in ourselves and stuck with these emotions, moving the body and just freeing that emotion, because it's just an energetic, it's an energetic thought, it's an energetic pattern. So if we can release that through movement, through breath, it's a beautiful way to start implementing that that papathway for you as well. Yeah. So how were you able?
Yeah, that's so.
Hang on a minute. There, the audio slipped out.
Yeah, you cut a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because I was just saying that energy creates energy, right? So for you to feel energetic, you have to create that energy. So you have to move. If you're just sitting on the couch and being, like you said, being in this very dark emotional state, then that's the energy you're creating. So if you want a different energy, you have to move. Yeah.
And so how did you start with building confidence? Because when you are going through phases of deep depression or stress and anxiety, you don't feel confident in anything you're doing, whether that, that imposter syndrome sneaks in, or you just don't feel like you mentioned before, that you're doing anything well. And so you've got to start building this self-confidence to be able to lift that vibration of those thought patterns that you're having. So how did you start to build your own self-confidence?
So probably I started with, I'm not sure if I started there, but definitely, to reworking my stories, my stress stories. And of course, that's a long journey. But if you talk about probably the one thing, again, I came across a life coach. And that's why, again, I love coaching, because that really helped me. But I actually started with building a morning routine, because I thought, okay, well, I need to do something. So let's start with something that I'm capable of doing. Because again, when we want to build on something, we have to find where we are confident. And I just, like you mentioned, I wasn't confident in anything. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to start with the morning routine, with building a morning routine. And for me, actually, it was to get up when the alarm rang. And this is really funny, because it's a very small thing and you just think, oh, that doesn't mean anything. But actually no, because you're starting with small steps, and you do it one day, then you do it the next day and the next day, and you start small and you see results quickly. And that's how you build confidence. Once you see that, okay, well, I did it, it worked, I can do it again, you build your confidence. And I would say, yeah, for me, it was when it was very hard. I actually start by building morning routine, and I thought, well, I have to start somewhere. Let's just start at the beginning of the day, right, before I move to the all the things that are happening in my day. And yeah, and I started with that. And yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, like I'm not gonna say that it was easy, but I started. And I start building, because again, when we build confidence, or when we build anything in life, right, it's basically brick by brick by brick, building those foundations. Because then, when you move and you add another brick and another brick, then your foundation is stronger and stronger, which means that when something happens to you, you have that foundation, which means you're not going to fall apart, because you have that foundation that you can rely on.
Beautiful. And was there any place where you struggled the most with building that confidence?
Yeah, it was probably, with the whole glorification of busyness, for me, just to really stay still, and again, yoga teaches us that too, right? Just sit down. So I was actually taking yoga classes too, and just sit down, don't move, don't do anything, because stillness is a movement itself, right? So you're just sitting and you're not doing anything. And for me to break that belief, that core belief that my worth is connected with business, that was really the biggest one. And I guess another thing was I always everything being the perfectionist or perfectionist in me. That was another thing. And I guess I'm doing better, right? But I'm still I still have some moments here and there where I just want to be perfect. But I mean, to be perfect, it means to be in control of everything, and that's an illusion. And I quite often catch myself that I'm actually striving to an illusion which I can't achieve, so I have to come back. But I would say, yeah, redefining those two stories for me, yeah, that was a struggle.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So I guess to sort of wrap this up a bit, I would love for you to give our listeners, your top 3 tips on how they could go and build their confidence, because with that confidence I feel like when you have built yourself up and built your confidence, you can meet stress without being as reactive to it. So could you give us your top 3 tips on how to start now, start from where you're at and build confidence to combat stress?
Yes. First of all, I would say, first of all, yeah, just thank yourself that you're actually recognizing that there is something that, you kind of need to change in your life to start building that confidence. Because like you said, once you're confident, and that's of course, an umbrella of a lot of things, but then you can really face any challenges that you have in your life. And yes, definitely, to change anything, you have to move and start with something small. Start something that you will enjoy doing. So don't look at the big results that you want to get in life, but like just look at day by day case and look, what can you do today to feel better? Again, I would say, if you're not in control of your morning, start there, because the way how you will decide what kind of day you will have. And again, it's get up. So set your alarm clock for, I don't know, 6 a.m. and just get up at 6 a.m. And that's it. You're already building your confidence. And then I would say, yeah, definitely look of nutritious, because again, to be confident that you can, face the challenges you have in your life, or to be confident that you can go and, I don't know, exercise, you need to fuel your body. So look at what you eat and how that nourishes you. And yeah, body movement. My goodness, you really need to move your body, because the way how you feel, it's because of all the hormones, of the, we're all talking about biochemistry here, right? So, you need to start changing, the levels of the hormones you have in your body. So you definitely need to move your body. And for example, how I started, it was walking. I started walking because it's so easy. You don't need a fancy equipment. You don't need a lot of time, because you don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to, go to the gym and feel that, all the people are judging you because you're not in the fancy outfit, or you're not, I don't know, torn with six pack or anything like that. It doesn't matter. You can, if you're sitting on the couch right now, you can get up in the clothes you're wearing, okay, put different shoes or go barefoot, okay, and just walk out the door. You can do that. That's how simple walking is. And for me, that was it. I start moving. So I start changing the biochemistry, changing the hormones levels. And then, you come back after the walk and you already feel more confident, and you think, okay, today I walk for 10 minutes. I can do that tomorrow. And then you're building your confidence.
Thank you. Thank you
Did I give three?
I think you did. Thank you so much for sharing your story and wisdom with us today. I really appreciate you coming on. It's been lovely chatting with you. Would you like to tell our listeners where they can find out more about you, where they can connect with you?
Yes. So I think the best way is probably just to go on my website. So it's annadoktor.com.au. I have everything there. You can subscribe to my newsletter. I do blogging every week, so you can get all those tools, and tips on how to build your health and your well-being. I just started a Facebook group, so I'm started growing a community. So again, if you want to be a part of that community to build healthy habits, then by all means go on my website. All the links are there. I'm also on social, so on Facebook and Instagram. I'm probably more on Instagram than Facebook, but again, all the links and everything is on my website. And yeah, I'm also running a challenge, but the challenge is starting on the 14th of March. So I'm not sure when that's going to be, when the episode is going to be aired. But again, yeah, I'm running a challenge, which is, again, it's really simple. We're just adding a green veg into our diet every day. So we're starting really with small steps, which again, that's how you build confidence, just starting with a really small step. But again, everything is on my website, annadoktor.com.au. Just get your name on my newsletter. So yeah, you can just stay up to date with everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anna.
You're welcome.
Thank you all of the people listening. Namaste.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.